What would you do? Capture him for human
and
justice?
You think they will share
He'd be out of jail and back on the
us?
streets.
Humanity will never trust
The greatest favor you can do him would be to put him out of our misery forever. What have I? What have they done to you?
After rewatching City of Stone, I thought I would do a character analysis and study of this amazing, well-written character, her nature, her cycle of self-sabotage, the relentlessness of her actions, captivating and intriguing. In this video, I'll talk about her psychology and her character archetype. Demona is a very fleshed-out character filled with flaws but convictions grounded in half-truths. She's not your everyday run-of-the-mill villain, which is what I hope to present to you in this video. Also, thanks to my script editor who put more soul into this than I could have. She put in a lot to make this video awesome. She's kind of a huge fan of the show, so thank you for your help. Demona is a character who's seemingly immortal, hates humans with passion, and cuts all ties with her mate and clan, among other things. If Demona sounds like an interesting character already, but you haven't not watched Gargoyles, you can find it on Disney+. This video contains spoilers for Season 1 and 2 of Gargoyles. So let's ask, how did she get this reason for hating humans? Why does she find the last of her clan delusional? Who is Demona? Before we get stuck into this fun train of thought, a little disclaimer. I'm a humble space noodle and don't know much about psychology. This is only meant to be fun. First, before we answer those questions, we have to ask, what was her early life or background like? If we can assume that Demona has lived most of her life with humans...
These cliffs were our home ages before they built their stone fortresses.
It can be assumed that she has been the receiver of unfair comments and treatment.
Captain, we are most seriously displeased to allow beasts in the dining hall.
You speak wisely, Princess. These are unnatural creatures. No good can come from associating with them.
Doom! Get away from those monsters! Mother!
We wouldn't hurt the lad, ma'am.
Keep away from him, you beast!
You're the beast.
Assuming that these things are true, we can also assume that her self-worth is very low or that she's very insecure. Maybe she seeks out validation.
Have you no pride? No sense of justice? We saved their lives, and they repay us with contempt.
Maybe she shields her insecurity with a delusion. Perhaps through the use of manipulation or anger and fear.
Look, his grades stink. His friends are hoodlums.
What do you care? You're never home anyway!
They can't share their own homes without fighting, and you think they will share this world with us?
Let's go ahead and look at some disorders that could be similar to her behaviors. ASPD. A few signs that Demona has ASPD are arrogance, believing gargoyles are superior to humans, which is also a characteristic shared with NPD, or narcissistic personality disorder. Not learning from mistakes, blaming the humans for her poorly made decisions. Lack of remorse, feeling justified in her responses. Manipulation, trying to persuade her fellow gargoyles that humans are to be eradicated. And sadism, feeling empowered by putting humans down. Smashing the stone people.
Another human bites the dust, or rather turns to dust. Here, let me help you with those packages.
Perhaps reacting to the horrendous acts she inadvertently caused. NPD, narcissistic personality disorder. Arrogant, as I mentioned, she thinks she knows what all humans are like. Power fantasies, desires to be queen of gargoyles, again like her time allied with Macbeth. Accepts a need for admiration, she often gloats on her methods in her latest plan. Like the time she was making the cold stone, or talking about the plague, how she will destroy humanity but save the gargoyles thanks to the praying gargoyle statue. A sense of entitlement, she's endured pain. Why shouldn't she inflict the pain onto humans who caused it? Machiavellism. I hope I pronounced that right. Manipulation, as mentioned before with Brooklyn, emotional detachment. When she finds her first client killed, she emotionally shuts down, foreseeing her own consequences, seeking revenge on those who wronged her. In shutting down, she's suppressing and redirecting the pain onto humanity as a whole. All the guilt, shame, and anger pointed towards the anonymous blob of humanity. When you're too busy lashing out at a never-ending enemy, you've no time to reflect and take accountability of your own actions. This is why I think Demona has such drive to eradicate humanity. To stop would mean self-reflection and the pain to return full force upon herself.
Oh, my love. What have they done to you?
One of the most interesting moments that a friend pointed out is in the episode Vows. When Demona goes back in time, we see her younger self not only studying under the Archmage, but we see the two Demonas talk to each other. Demona tries to plant a seed of hate in her younger self, as well as a delivering of a line that is very interesting.
Believe me, I know exactly how you feel. But you cannot trust him. He's weak. He cares more for the humans than for our clan. The greatest favor you can do him would be to put him out of our misery forever.
Our. And not his. Showing that she can only think about herself. Notice also that this could be an indicator that she feels guilt for what she did on a subconscious level and is trying to distance herself from the action. This gives the evidence towards SAPD and antisocial personality disorder and narcissistic personality disorder, or NPD, due to the fact that she sees herself in the right and the thought of being wrong is too dangerous to attach herself sense to. While the Machiavellian personality overlaps with these two disorders, this is not uncommon occurrence. The Dark Knight character archetype is what I think Demona fits in the best. Now, well-known characters in this archetype are Thanos and Eric Lencher. Both of them see themselves as the hero of their story. Thanos was to use the Infinity Stones to kill half of all sentient life, while Eric was a Holocaust survivor and a mutant. So he didn't want to be hated and discriminated against for being a mutant, so he decided to wage war against the humans. Sounds like Demona. However, there are a few differences between the two of them. Eric was civil when it came to a few things and people. Demona sees herself as the hero. However, she is the villain of her story. What makes the Dark Knight archetype what it is? That we feel compassion towards them. Like their ideals have good intentions but are misplaced. With Demona, we can empathize with her pain, but we cannot condone her actions as a result of the pain after an extent. When we want to see her learn from her mistakes, learn to forgive and heal from her inner turmoil, we would want to see her succeed and grow from these experiences. Perhaps she would become a better person because of it. Currently, it would look like a 180 for her.
You know the rules. Killing me will gain you nothing but your own death.
After this long a lifetime, I have no fear of that, and no desire to live in the kind of world you're creating. Revenge is a dish best eaten cold, Demona, and I have waited 900 years for this meal.
Well, now we know more about Demona. Let's talk about her thirst for hate and revenge. To see how this formed into a binding circle of hate, let's first look at the interactions with others. The earliest interaction we can observe for the series would be her mentorship with the Archmage. Likely started as a means to gain competency and thus grandeur, the Mutt thought after respect. She is tasked with stealing the Phoenix Gate from Prince Malcolm's collection of wedding gifts. Ultimately, she decides not to give it to the Archmage, the magical artifact. Having in the Archmage's eyes failed her task, he verbally berates her and approaches her aggressively. If he had not been interrupted by Hudson, the current leader of the clan at that point, he might have done so much worse to her. Next, we have the captain of the guard. Having seen the mistreatment of her clan, it can be assumed he had a quiet word with Demona. Seeing, of course, that she is the most emotionally charged on the subject, a deal is struck between the two, but unfortunately both fail to uphold their terms of the agreement, with Demona convincing the gargoyles to leave the castle, be it with Goliath or attempting to have them follow her to the caves below, and the captain failed to convince Håkon, the leader of the invading Vikings, to leave the sleeping gargoyles be. Shortly after the discovery of the remains of her clan, both the destroyed and her remaining members frozen in stone, she flees to a barn in search of food, causing a young Gilligan to go out and search the barn for disturbance. It's in doing so he happens to cross paths with Demona, who unfortunately attacks him, disfiguring his face in the process. Doing so created what would be known as a ruthless assassin, the Hunter. His sole purpose, to hone his skills and hunt the one who attacked him. Later, the title would be feared by every living gargoyle. The Hunter specialized in eradicating the species. Many hunters would go on pushing Demona throughout the ages, attempting to slay her. After a few years of thievery and collecting new members for her clan, Demona is visited by the Weird Sisters. As children of Erbron, they have the ability to appear how they wish to those they show themselves to. To Demona, they came as old gargoyles, trying to persuade her to ally with young Macbeth. They too would appear to Macbeth as elderly women in a field tending to their cauldron. Inadvertently, Demona follows their suggestion to visit the castle of Murray, not in the hopes to ally with Macbeth, but to pounce on the hunter who had been plaguing her the past years, callously allowing Macbeth's father, Finlock of Murray, to be slain by the hunter, though she did soften and save Macbeth from the plummet over the apartments. Frustrated, she flies off into the night, leaving Macbeth for now. Now enter Macbeth, an interesting character in his own right, after being persuaded yet again to ally with him at the behest of the sisters, begrudgingly does so, though time she comes to find mutual respect for Macbeth. He was, after all, the one who gave her the name after observing her fighting prowess. In 1020 AD, the two agreed to a pact facilitated by the Weird Sisters. Macbeth his youth in exchange for Demona's alliance in protecting his kingdom from Duncan the First, the same Duncan who ordered his father's death. And Demona wishing for her youth and strength back to lead and protect her clan. Helping Macbeth also helped protect her clan. That is until one night she overheard Macbeth's advisors just turning in her clan. Having heard enough and hastily fleeing, plan her own counter to her inevitable betrayal, she failed to hear Macbeth shutting down such a proposal, thus betrayed Macbeth and ending what could have been an eternal and powerful alliance, an eternal binding to humanity. Perhaps the sisters did so intentionally as to avert her bloodthirst on humanity.
I thought I rid of myself of you long ago, human. Fortunately, that mistake is easily recidified.
Enter Elisa Mirza. Hundreds of years have passed, but that has not dulled Demona's anger. However, special consideration is given to Elisa due to the relationship she shares with her former roommate Goliath. Seeing the two so close, as well as seeing Goliath choose to save Elisa over her, neglecting to remember the fact that she was going to shoot and kill Goliath at that time, seeing Elisa every time reignites the rage within her. Possibly either a reminder that she carries that affection and devotion from Goliath, as well as a symbolic moment that she has lost Goliath to humanity, a contemptuous thing in her eyes. There is also a brief encounter with Puck. Puck plays with her word choice in granting her wishes. At the end, Demona merely dismisses him, not playing Puck's game. This angers Puck, so he bestows her his gift, allowing her to walk the daylight instead of her stone sleep. At first, Demona is thrilled until she catches a glimpse in the mirror. He turns her into the very thing she despises, a human. Perhaps Puck was playfully trying to remind her that she isn't as different from those she holds contempt for. Lastly, but not all unimportant, is her daughter Angela, having been hidden away on Avalon after the mages Princess Catherine and Tom whisked them to safety. Angela is naive to the cruelty of Demona. After introducing herself, it can be seen that this touches Demona deep down inside, briefly reawakens the tenderness long thought buried in her hardened heart. Demona would try to manipulate Angela as wanting to form a relationship. She's later exposed for her lies, turning her daughter against her, the last person who opened herself up to her trust. And this, in turn, wounds Demona deeply. It can be assumed that in her mind, turning Angela to her side, she would finally have someone who understands and who cares for her, something deep down she desires. It has made one large circle of hate, sowing the seeds of revenge which will only bring more violence. It is easy and safer to blame others, but it's hard to forgive and let go. To let go would mean having to find another purpose for the immortality given by the Word Sisters. Why Demona decides to drown herself in hate and revenge is temperamental. So, where does this all lead? The destruction of her clan, the birth of the gargoyle extermination, fate literally intervening and binding her to humanity through Macbeth, chasing her mate into the arms of another, becoming part of humanity through the day, and lastly, turning the last hope of love away. All painful reminders of her mistakes, and each in turn triggering the next hate-fueled violent outburst. All in vain, hope to resolving the inner turmoil.
You must give them the code.
I will have vengeance for the betrayal of my clan. Vengeance for my pain.
But who betrayed your clan? And who caused this pain?
The Vikings destroyed my clan.
Who betrayed the castle to the Vikings?
The hunter hunted us down.
Who created the hunter?
Canmore destroyed the last of us.
Who betrayed Macbeth to Canmore?
Your thirst for vengeance has only created more sorrow. End the cycle, Demona. Give us the code.
Demona had many opportunities in life to have what she wanted for her and her clan. She betrayed the people who lived in the castle, getting her clan killed by the Vikings. She then betrayed Macbeth because she heard something out of context after he was loyal to her for 37 years. She pushed away Goliath when he wanted peace with the humans because he saw that Demona's war on humanity was her trying to hide her own guilt. She even ruined what relationships she had with Brooklyn and the others by trying to kill them or manipulate them. Heck, she completely ruined her daughter's relationship with her scheme to kill every human in the world. The blood on her hands, the hate in her heart, her undying need for revenge. Demona certainly has a knack for making her own life miserable, for all she wants is a place to live with those she cares about and in safety. But her actions have made her the one thing she fears most in her 1,000 years plus of being alive.
The access code is alone.
If you enjoyed this video or think I missed something about Demona, feel free to leave a comment below. I look forward to the future discussions.